Hello and welcome to a review of the KDM Simulator. I'm pushing this out outside of normal schedule because Black Friday hit and there's a sale going on the shop which ends later today on the day that this is going up, and I wanted to give you all an honest opinion about the KDM Simulator so you can decide if it is something that you would like to have and what level you would want to be at. So before we get any further in, I would have liked to have recorded this in advance, but I wasn't aware of how much was going to be updated with Black Friday. Now the simulator has basically all of the first generation expansion content and the vignette of Death for the White Giga Lion and this new digital only piece of content with Morg, which makes me think of Morg Thorg from Blood Bowl, but Morg is an anagram of Gorm. So yeah, right. What we have here, this is the main menu. Now, before I go any further, due to time, I'm going to give you my upfront summary review, and the kind of people I think that KDM Simulator will be really useful for. So I think KDM Simulator is a fantastic product. It keeps on getting better and better with each update. The development team is very responsive and thoughtful, and they care about making this as good a process as possible. Adam is quite heavily involved, which is not surprising given his employment background. So this is very good, and I think first of all, if you've not played Kingdom Death, this is probably the most accessible way to give it a try and see if you like it. So that's the first kind of category of people, are those who are curious about Kingdom Death and want to play, but really are not sure if they should spend the hundreds of dollars that the main box requires. Second category of people who have like limited space or limited time. This is a version of the game that you can just leave set up. You don't have to tidy it away, you just need to close the program, and also it's fairly straightforward to use the Stone Cloud to transfer your settlement back and forth. And there's some nice quality of life functions that are in to help with that even further, and I'm sure we've got more coming. Third category of people who just like their friends are remote, or you can't necessarily meet in person every week, but you could squeeze in a group call over Discord or Skype or whatever and play there. For those kind of groups, it's worth noting that only the host needs to own the expansions. Everybody else can still access the expansion content as long as they're connecting to the host's instance. So you don't need everybody to have a full blown copy with all of the expansions in order to be able to play, which is quite nice. The last group of people who I think should consider buying at least the dwelling key are those of us who first played Kingdom Death electronically via Tabletop Simulator. Obviously there wasn't an official electronic release back in the time, and for most of the experience through COVID period. But I do think you should show your love and support for an official electronic copy, because this isn't a cheap project. You know, it's not like all of this is easily put together. It's a lot of work, and it's an ongoing project, and I do think it deserves as much support as people can afford. As for what license you should go for, really that's down to how much you can afford. Personally, be sensible with your money, buy the level you can afford. Don't feel obligated to get a master dwelling key. I have a master key on this, so I'll be showing that. Adam gifted it to me. There's no requirements, no strings or anything like that. He hasn't asked me to do this review. I am doing it just to provide another set of opinions on and showcase of what this is like after a year of it being out. But yeah, I think it's the price on the electronic expansions is so reasonable that don't feel like you have to buy the master key. Although if you can afford it, and you use this a lot, it will save you money in the long run. And hopefully we see a whole breed of electronic only players in the future, who maybe convert across to the physical copy but maybe don't. So as long as we keep supporting this, this is more accessible for players, to dip their toes in and see if they like it, and that's only good for the game. Okay, so that's my opener. I think this is great. I think we should support it. I think it keeps improving further and further, and it's something I use weekly now. I use it because I sometimes I want to play, like I'm doing the ongoing and you video series, and this is where I will play the base content because my board gaming table is covered with the Gambler's Chest. So essentially lets me have 2 campaigns running at once, so fantastic for my needs. Right, let's take a look, shall we? So this is our main menu. It's a little train travelling with your box to your friend's house. There's some cute graffiti. That's A&A for Adam and Anna, and Poots down there. We got this. I can move diagonally adjacent in real life. You can also do it in game now if you have the right knowledge. And up here is a little reference to the king who has finally arrived. This is the master key shown here, and then we got settings on here. Kind of basic at the moment, but I don't think you need anything super fancy for a board game anyway. You can turn light flickering on and off. I keep it off because while I'm not epileptic, I feel queasy with flickering lights and things. So appreciate that for accessibility. You can change the camera stuff, bobbing, because you will physically move around the dwelling. I have that turned off for the same reason I have the flashing lights turned off. Here's all your key bindings. You can change these, so you can put it to something that's a bit more useful. You can also access this menu in game to check any controls. Standard audio stuff, master volume, music volume, and sound effects volume. And then on gameplay, you can either have auto snap rotation, which means when you rotate it does 90-degree turns, which is how I like to have it, or you can have it off, which will do through full 360 rotations. Whichever setting you pick, holding shift while rotating will do the other one. So if you have the auto snap on and you hold shift, you can still rotate stuff 360 degrees. And then we got the smart record sheet camera, which is a function I am not quite so familiar with. I haven't had a lot of time to play around with everything that's in here. Then if you're going to join a friend's room, very straightforward. You type your name in. These are not like account based. This is whatever will display underneath your mouse pointer, and they'll have a room key in the top left corner that they will give to you, and that will allow you to join their room. It's pretty smooth, clean, easy joining. Your own game room then, set it. This is so if you're hosting or you're playing solo, you've got a reset room option, which allows you to either reset just the game room or fully reset everything. I fully reset everything. I do that quite regularly because of recording the videos. I need to adjust the content I'm using, so that's very helpful. It's pretty clean and easy functionality. Okay, so let's load up and go into the dwelling. Also, look, it's Sam, Rand, and who's the last one? It begins with an A, and the Lion Knight. Oh, that's bugging me. Who is the A? It's Ash Williams. Yeah, it's Sam, Rand, and Ash, and the second Lion Knight on the thing there. Anyway, let's go in the room, shall we? So we get the train slowing down as it arrives, and then the loading screen here has a few little like hints and tips and bits and pieces. It'll load faster probably for you. My hard drive is not super quick. Okay, we'll see. First of all, the colour of the pointer is randomised each time. And then we have, this is where we enter, a little doorway. This box here, this is, I don't really use this at all. This storage box is mostly because if you're holding something and you disconnect, the game will stick it into the box to keep it safe. This light flashes whenever you've got new content that's arrived. And then here you can see all the content with the boxes. Let's open this wooden crate first. Okay, so inspect it, and if we look around, we can. This is, some of the boxes have these fun little things like this, and there we are. This is the this is like where you'd store your settlement, the old stone box. Okay, there we go. Do little bit of flavor text, and that's gone into my inventory. You can access your inventory with I, or you can use mouse pointer to access it up there. Right. The other things which you need, which I want to open up here, this is the iClops camera. As you can see, we'll open up this box, and there it is. This is very new functionality of taking snapshots that you can load from. I don't recall who sent it to you. Well, one would assume it's the Cyclops Knight. Right, so that's my inventory. I'm also going to grab this as well. This is, I believe this one goes to everyone. This is the pen that'll has functionality to allow you to automatically transcribe things onto sheets. We'll look at the info in each one once we pop them down in the room. There we go, we've got all those. Okay, so I'm only going to open a few of the boxes to demonstrate the different opening things. So we will start with, where's there we go, we'll start with Sunstalker. Okay, so your choices are, you can put it in your inventory, or we can unbox. You can unbox the inventory, which I'll showcase with Morg, or you can unbox to the game room. So let's have a quick look at, this is the, wow. I'll open the next one in a slightly better position so we don't stare at the wall while opening it, but it does show an animation of you opening the box. Okay, so with right click we can rotate around a little bit, and we can also zoom in, and yeah, you can see these are all models that come with this. And then if we just left click, it'll recycle the disposable packing. It's very important to recycle your electronic packing, otherwise all those electrons will get worn out. Right, so as you can see, it hasn't gone into the inventory, which is nice. Okay, right, now let me just move backwards a little bit. I think I've broken my movement controls. I have. Okay, maybe we'll be able to fix that by opening another box. Otherwise, I'm going to have to re-record this. That's amazing. Okay, let's try. Let's see if we can fix it. Let's see if we can salvage this. Unbox to inventory. So we'll grab Morg and hope that this fixes however I achieved that bug. I don't know. Okay, so we have here Morg. We'll take a better look at this, but this is the first ever digital only content. When you put a axe in his gear grid, it'll switch to that particular axe. You can see this is the greatest axe, this is the greater axe, the gax, counterweighted axe, that's the bone sword, and I believe that's the bone axe, sorry, and I believe that's the savage bone axe. It's the pattern one from the gambler's chest. We got an indomitable resource, an indomitable pattern, and one copy of this weapon. We'll look at that more later. Let's see if we fixed our movement problem. We have. Okay, so it was something temporary to do with the box. Right, I'm just going to open the vignette and the Green Knight to demonstrate those. So we're going to pick up this, pop it here. we'll pick up this and also oh, okay, went back to the pile. Okay, that's quite nice. Right, okay, unbox this again to the game room. Alright, so you can see there's the vignette of death with all the extra bits and pieces that come with it. There we go. Here's Breccia and the Rock Knight and the Best Boy Gadrock and Hungry Basalt. Okay, and then I will just, to demonstrate the final type of box opening, I'll do the Green Knight expansion, because this is like a version of the small cardboard boxes. Unbox again to game room, please. There we go. So you can see in this you get one of each, plus one model, one of each, male and female models. There we are, all done. Right, so I am going to very quickly pause this recording and get the rest of these boxes open. Okay, so there we are, we've opened all the boxes. Before we go into the game room, I'll show you around the hallway area. So this is the entry point. You can't go out. There's a little bit of external rendering. So just a hint, but it's mostly all obscured, which is fine. We don't need a whole world to explore. This lamp lights up when there is content for you to collect. There'll also be a doorbell sound as well. This envelope's the master key, which I'm not going to worry about right now. Okay, so we have an upstairs area. That's where we'll go first. Lots of pictures. If I had more time, I would talk to you about these pictures. I've identified the vast majority of them, but instead we'll just sort of see them in the background as we go through. This door and this door have zero functionality at all. This one over here, you zoom in and there's the keyhole, but there's no interaction I found yet. I imagine we'll be told when it is. There is planned to be a hobby room for assembling the models and painting them and everything, it'd be interesting to see what that's like when the functionality is in there. I'm pretty sure they've been playing around with it already, but it'd be exciting to see how you can colour the models, how that's going to work. I imagine there'll be some very inventive and incredible looking paint jobs once we get there. Okay, so this corridor, this is ships outside of Boston, by the way, and you can buy this print on Etsy. This is an actual sketch, but you can buy a print of this on Etsy, and this is one of those wonderful Japanese haunted ghost furniture paintings. There's quite a lot of them around. I don't know exactly the artist of this one. I'm not supposed to be talking about this stuff because we don't have enough time. Okay, so these doors, you can see, are locked. We have a light. We can interact with it directly here. We can focus in. This one has two settings, on and then this like blank nightmare, which, there we go. Thankfully that outline illuminates. This one's also non-functional at the moment. So this is the game room door here. Okay, the shepherd tone that you can hear in the background, which is it's a continuous note. It's an audio illusion, auditory illusion. It's a loop of like gradually fading in notes. I think they're like an octave apart, and it creates this continuously ascending or descending sound. It's called a shepherd tone after the man who first came up with it, Mr. Shepherd. I think his name's Robert, but don't quote me on that. You can learn more about it in a wonderful video from Jacob Geller, who talks about how it's used in Silent Hill 2 for an incredibly long staircase that just descends down and down and down. Anyway, this will only play in the hallway. It is, I think, set as music. It's music. It's other music. I can't remember. It's you can turn one of the functions off. I think it might be sound effects, and it will disappear. But anyway, Let's go into the main room. Here we go. So this is our game room. We have a light. This light's a little different. We've got 3 functions for differing varies of light. So you can have very bright, medium, or I can't play in this. There we go. We have a storage chest here where if anything, when you reset the room, if anything can't, like the program can't find the right place for it to go, it'll put it in here. The dark maid will tidy it up and clean it away in there. There we have the table itself, which is the last thing we'll look at in the room. We'll go clockwise around. So up here is where all of the rule books get displayed. Very sort of attractive little display. Down here we have our jigsaw pieces. We can see we have the vignette of death character sheets, well, character gear grids I should say, tableaus, and here we have people of the sun and stars and the separate sheets. The rule books, you can just pick them up by zooming in, and now we can just like highlight this, and there we are, we picked it up. And we can take it over to the table, and if we just click on the table, we'll sit down in a seat and we can just drop it. So I'll come back to this in a moment. We'll just get away from the table. So all of that's quite nicely organised. There's a little bit of future proofing. I imagine, though don't quote me, they'll combine all the rule books together once Campaigns of Death is on the simulator. Over here we have our fireplace. There's this little noise if you're very close. It does fade away fairly quickly, which is nice. You can't really hear it when you're at the table. And over here we have where all the models go. So you click on there to open the door, and you can zoom in on the shelf. So there you can see all of them there. Now you can right click and you can do like setups to set up the showdowns. Up and down will go up and down the shelves. Left and right will move around. Another neat little thing which I appreciate is, as you can see, the spiderlings are spread around on the shelf, which you would think might be a bit of a nightmare, but the same with the fruit, but you see we can gather the fruit and we can gather the spiderlings via these. So that's quite a nice little easy piece of setup. And as you can see, if we just zoom back out, there is plenty of room for more models. These shelves do not feel particularly crowded, and it's just a nice display for some electronic stuff. Okay, over here is where the heirlooms normally go, so let's take them out. With the old stone box, there we go. We have the ghost pen. There we go. You can see how it's like slotting them into place. And the iClocks camera, yes, there we go, it worked. Right, so they're there. Let's take a look at these. So first of all, we have the ghost pen. So when placed on the table, it's cap remove. The pen assists players on the task of recording different cards to their record sheets. This is a really quite nice piece of quality of life, with it automatically doing typing for you on various different things. We're just going to open it there. There's the lid off. It's a nice little fountain pen. We're going to pop that in our pocket for later. Then we got the camera, which it can use to, when you create restorable save states. If you take a picture of the table, so it's like you get this, and here we go, and let's use the camera this way. You got like little functions to zoom in and auto focus as you want to. I think this is a fun way of doing a save states thing, and this is actually very useful. But if we just take a picture here, out comes a Polaroid. We don't have to shake it, thank goodness. And there we are, we've got a little save state. You can have 50 of those. Right, so let's just put this back down. There we go. And this is where you can put like settlement sheets and everything to have them saved, and you can get access to them via the web. And and print them out or copy them or whatever you need to do. It's very nicely covered as well. Let's close that, and then we're just going to pick this up for a moment. I was just having some trouble in exiting there. There was no close. Right, over here. This is the reason I reset everything, because at the moment the functionality on this is just a little limited, but it's a gramophone. We have one track, which is this. It is Kingdom Death Volume 1. You can just pop it on there. You can move the old needle. There it goes, and we can just play. And it will play some music. So I want to assume they're going to add more. You can play it in reverse. At the moment, there's no way I've found to be able to put the CD back, but I could just be missing that. The functionality on here, this adjusts the volume, and this is like play back and forth. I like the aesthetic of this thing a great deal. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to use it, but it's very cool, and I wouldn't mind just seeing a promo content, like gear card for this, or maybe a settlement, like a innovation. It'd be fun, some kind of innovative version. But anyway, I think it looks super cool. I really like the design of it. So that's all the extra functionality around everything. Let's get to the main event itself, which is the table. So you can click anywhere on the table, and you'll get in the chair which is nearest. And from there, we're now like free roaming around within a limited space of the table. People can see your mouse pointer and where it is. Right, so we have that's the standard People of the Lantern settlement sheet and survivor record. We have 4 gear grids. If you are playing solo, you can unlock these gear grids and then pick them up and move them. So we just pop this down here, and then we rotate. You can see I've got the 90-degree rotation on, and there is the 360 with me holding shift. Right, and then you can just actually that wasn't there we are, and let's just lock it in. Okay, so it's fairly straightforward to use. We've got all the dice. There's like ability to pick up multiple dice or single dice. Locations. You can move this as well. This is locked down, so you just have to unlock them. This is actually exactly the same as the real thing. So you'll see when I open it, there we are, and we got both sides. I actually hope in the future we get 2 of these, because I would rather have them like permanently set up. But this is a nice representation of the original thing. Boom, there we go. Right. So I'm going to show the expansion book first. Partly because I want to showcase this is one thing I'm not super keen on. You can see that the page is bending. We can open and close it by doing Q and E are the standard controls. I like the page turning noises a lot. Yeah, and my only issue with this is I'm going to put it in my inventory for a moment. My only issue with that is the slight bending. I'd like to be able to turn that off so I can just have flat, solid objects when they're on the table. You can just see it rise up there. It's not a huge deal though. Okay, so, and then you can send to the shelf just with this option, and you can see there it is. You can't call stuff from the shelf to the table yet. I don't know if they'll add that functionality. We'll see. Okay, on the board, you've seen me demonstrate this when I've talked about reach and positionals and things, but you can just pick up a model, and as you move them around, it'll mark out the pathway that they followed until you go to the next one, which I think is super, super useful for counting, making sure you've moved the correct number. Very, very helpful piece of functionality. We got the ability to also knock down models as required. It's semi like randomizes it just a little bit in how they move. You can just use K. You can see how it's like varying the knockdown a little bit, which yeah, that's quite nice. Okay, let's get you back on your feet. Right, so you can even clear the board away, put the board on the shelf if you want to. Oh, I left the table entirely, that's my fault. Okay, rulebook. So at the moment, the rulebook it has a it has functionality for bookmarks. It used to have the full bookmark functionality where you could set your own. That is going to be restored. I don't know when, but I have had it confirmed it's going to be restored. So we've got contents, severe injuries, which also means we're just a couple of pages away from the hunt events and the glossary. It's fairly easy to use. You can either look at it like this in the zoomed in focus mode where it'll give the whole pages, or if you're zoomed out you can also just like manually look in on stuff if you really want. You need to look at it a bit bigger. This is as close as you can zoom. Okay, then we have the game box. So now we click on it, it opens up. We can focus in. Right, so it puts all of these in when you all of the little dividers in when you pull them up from the thing. You can pick things up with Q, and this will physically let you rearrange the order of everything if you want to have it in a certain order to ensure that you can find everything quickly. That's quite nice. You can see it's sort of put the monsters over here, and it's put most of the other bits and pieces over there. I would personally, prefer to have this, but you can see there's like a finite space. It's going to be interesting what happens once we have more things. How that's going to be updated, because this is a pretty full box. Over here we have all the gear. So other functionalities, if we just press V, we can see each of the decks. If I hover one of the decks, we can press V again and we can get in. You can search. So if I type the full name in, it'll take the hardened ribs. If I do like a partial, it'll go through the ones that have the partials. It's fairly solid functionality. There we are. And you can also just pick the whole thing up and put it and move it around. If you want to, you can there we go. So you can click on the deck and can drop it down like this. So you have to manually move each deck out separately, I think, at the moment. But you can also grab individual cards from decks, which I'll show in a second. Right, we have tokens. You can click on the tokens. It shows them all here. If you click Shift, then you can pick up multiples at once, like so. I'm just putting them back in there. If I click one, it'll pull one out and put the rest away. So fairly straightforward to use. We've got the same thing here with the bleeding tokens. You can one at a time pick up, put down by left clicking. If you hold Shift, you'll pick up multiples. These are the small terrain tiles. They tell you the numbers. It's all fairly straightforward to get to, easy to follow, quite nicely organized. The larger tiles are here. Again, we got all our set numbers. We can see how many are in each stack. This is the settlement order card, which isn't super useful, but it is great if you're not using the big board as an alternative. We've got our White Giga Lion, our monster controller, priority target. We've got our settlement deck. By clicking on that, we can pull it out, and then if I just leave this for a moment, I'll demonstrate pulling specific cards out. Let's go get everyone's favourite cards. There it is. If I click, it's highlighted. And let's also click on this one. And now when I exit the deck, I am holding those two cards. So you can pull specific cards out. That's very useful when you're crafting in particular. If we just drag the box, the cards over the box here, you can see it's been put back in. All the locations are here. There's every single one for you to see. Plumery video coming soon. Now that it's all the gear's been correctly updated. There we are, lovely. And then our gear cards, nice and straightforward. We can like directly pull a single gear out from here. We can pull the whole stack out of the box, etc. All the same functionalities. We won't find murder in that pile yet. Right, so that is the game box. Okay, so one of the things that I have to showcase is this automatic setup. So setup for showdown. So if I click prologue showdown and confirm. Give it a moment. There we go. It hasn't pulled all the. There it has pulled them out there. So this is. But I forgot. It puts them onto here. I normally have this on the right hand side because that's physically how I have it in person. It hasn't put these correctly, but that's fine. If we look at the White Lion deck here, we'll see that this is the prologue White Lion deck. That's all of the cards that go into it. Right, so nice and easy. I'm going to demonstrate a setup from the shelf as well. I think we should do the this one. So setup, showdown, and we'll do a level 2, confirm. And you can see it's just stopped for a moment as it loads it, and it's over there. And we can see it's put all of the terrain in place. It's added the terrain tiles and cards already. So they're there. We have our, if we just flip this over, you can see that you're supposed to have Irradiate and Unseen Agony, which we do. Irradiate, Unseen Agony. We've got the deck is done, set up. The hit location deck's done. It's all shuffled. So there's functionality on like automatic setup and scripting, and that is pretty nice. Okay, so whoops, I didn't mean to leave the table. I meant to grab the ghost pen, and we'll put that on the table. We will grab a survivor sheet, tear that off and put it there, and we'll grab a settlement sheet. There we go. So to demonstrate this, let's go and get ourselves a disorder, shall we? Or fighting art, whichever I hit first. We hit fighting arts. Let's go for a nice fighting art. One of my favourites. Time aside. Okay, so I've not actually done this myself yet, so it should be interesting to see if it works. There you go. Time aside, written in there with the ghost pen and recorded, which is really nice. There we are. So you can tear up these. It's fairly simple. They're scrapped, it's gone. The settlement sheet will also work in exactly the same way with the ghost pen. It'll like add bits and pieces on as when you highlight over them, innovations, settlement locations, and everything, and like resources, gear. It's very, very clean and fast. I like the pen a lot, and as I said, I do believe this is in all versions. Super useful. And there we are. I think that is more or less everything that I want to showcase that I use this for. As I mentioned, I think this is a very, very good software. The quirks and issues it's had over times have been addressed, dealt with, updated, cleaned. As the programming team are receptive to feedback, and they get things sorted, which is great. And I think this is I would not use any other electronic way of playing Kingdom Death now. This is my home from home, and as time passes, it just keeps getting better and better. And I know, given, as I said, Adam's background in programming and his pursuit for perfection, when stuff goes wrong or isn't quite to the standard he wants, it does get addressed and dealt with. I hope one day we occasionally have a creepy thing walk past this window. That's what I'm asking for, but maybe not too often. Anyway, that's it. So let's switch the light off, and next time when you're out there in the darkness, I wish you happy hunting.